So this could be one of the most historical videos I've ever did. Pinkering. The mouse run up the Pinkering nuclear generation clock. Tick-tock, Diablo Canyon clock. So, Allie, probably the second most famous Olympic athlete on earth, announced today she's not going to the Fukushima death games on CNN. Need me time. So this is important. Ripples in the sea. We'll talk Pinkering, the 1983 accident they had there, how they released the warning at 9/11. This is real historic, important. I was really secret on this university doing most of my work was full of cancer. The only person that ever was nice to me on this campus when I was full of cancer doing my work was the basketball team, Damian Lillard and crew. Of course, when he got to be a billionaire, he forgot about me. That's what they do. That's okay. So, this is important. We'll talk Pinkering, we'll talk the Olympic boycott, we'll talk Ricardo Iki, the most famous. She's not going either. Most famous 19-year-old athlete on the face of the earth. Why? Well, she might be there if she's still alive. She's full of AML leukemia. Born on 4th of July. Real important. So, it's happened to me twice just today. There's a young, really famous athlete up here. Track athlete, Olympic athlete. Women's track. She come up to me. She says, Kevin Blanch, I want to say thank you to you. For what? She says, I'm not going to the Olympics. She says, you woke me up in Fukushima long ago. Not only that, when you're fighting cancer, I used to listen to your radio show at Weber State, and you did an hour-and-a-half really brilliant lecture on why are the marquee athletes, turned me on to a lot of stuff dying of cancer. And you went and said it's where they train, how they train, and recovery. And she says, when you're training so hard as a young athlete in this high altitude, in these places where they want you to train, you know, you've got to rejuvenate when you get done. Now, how do I know all this? Number one, I used to be one of those athletes. Number two, talk about an athlete now fighting leukemia. I'll show you athlete. So I learned, Dr. Blanche. She says, thank you. And she come up and hugged me. She says, I've learned so much from you off your radio show. I'm sad to hear that they got rid of it. I says, yeah, they run Manny out of town also. I was quiet, but the ripples in the sea are out there. I got an email from Google a while back saying, your 5-6 million view counts are probably at least 10 times high that. We took away those counts. And because I've been going back and forth with them, you don't even know if you're talking to a person. Most likely you just think you're talking to a robot, which you think, well, I'm pretty sure you are. And then they'll email you back 2 months later. So I'm like, why? I don't have an AdSense account, blah, blah, blah. The machine or whoever it is emails me back. It says, well, we took away all your so-called abstract views. Facebook, newspapers, websites, which when they tell you that they've taken away 90% of your view count, so the genie's out of the bottle. Don't matter now. They can do whatever they want and circle the wagons on me. I knew what I was up to when it happened in real time. They can't figure me out because I don't fit in the left paradigm, the right. All these people catashooted into this Trumpism, Obamaism. I didn't. I didn't. And so, Obama tricked me at first, but I got onto him. Just like Trump tricked you. Trump is Bush. Trump is Bush. Trump is Bush. Obama was Bush. I mean, Droney, if you don't believe me, Kavanaugh. Now we got Star Wars. That was H. Bush's number one thing he always wanted with. They christened the new Star Wars. The country's really in debt. Poverty from hell. Freaking, the country's a fucking, infrastructure's a disaster. We're going to fucking do Star Wars in space. They christened him. I mean, think about this fucking insane country that we live in. So, the language professor walks up. She teaches Arabic studies, walks up to me. She says, Dr. Blanche, she says, can I talk to you? Yeah. Thank you so much. She says, I used to listen to your radio show every Monday. I loved it. How come they got rid of you? They run Manny out of town right for... She says, I'll tell you why they got rid of you. Do you know why? And I said, I think I know why. Surprised they did it put up with me that long. She says, you know that kid who videotaped inside the classroom and it went viral? Well, they think you put him up to it. I mean, I listen to your radio show and you tell students, go videotape and say, because the freedom of information, yeah, a professor could say whatever he wants in the classroom. That's true and that's right and it should be that way. But so can the student. I mean, that professor got railroaded here. My funding, I remember taking away my funding. I says, I'll go Grassroots. I don't, Aaron Swartz in the name of Aaron Swartz. And fuck you, I'll crowdfund, I'll do whatever I got, I'll scratch and claw, I'll fucking eat dirt. Fuck you, I don't want your fucking money. Nice. So I was quiet, I'm not so quiet now, you know, and so, Pickery, the Pickery Mouse. So, you know they had an accident in 1983, Go Invaders. USFL, Donald Trump got the best athlete. I'm Herschel Walker. I'm a most overrated athlete in the history of humanity. Greatest trade in history? Well, that was orchestrated by Tom Landry, who invented the combine, who, by the way, Jay Hill has a combine here. That leads me into, we have a defensive end here who's from Africa. He's 6'10", 300, beast. So he come up to me yesterday, or no, this is before I went to Idaho, a few days ago, and he walked up to me and he says, Kevin Blanche, thank you, you know? And I said, yeah, we had a long, he says, they got rid of you doing the games, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it's too bad. And so, the language professor says, that's why they got rid of you. And so, back to Pickering. So Pickering issues this warning, they had an accident. Oh, it's just cracked zirconium rods, Zerkfa, that's all. Nothing to see. They never lie. USFL, Flutie Flakes. Remember, Trump, the greatest, no, I'm a Philadelphia Star. That's who I am. Greatest football team, you never know it. Yeah, 84 Philadelphia Stars. Go Invaders, Bobby Hebert, too. Wasn't that Carter? Carter Smarter. So, that's in Toronto. The Pickering nuclear, it's one of the biggest disasters. I've always had it on my top 10. My number 1 was always San Onofre. Number 2 was always Diablo Canyon. Number 3 was always Fukushima, Japan. Always. Then number 4 was Oyster Creek. Number 5 was not 3 Mile Island, Night Island. It was Indian Point. Then I had Turkey Point, Arkansas 1, but Pickering was in my top 10. Always there. So, the plane gets shot down. It's a mistake. By the way, he's from Montana. He lived in Livingston, men at work. Just like Buffett, yay. Cheeseburgers in paradise. That's Paradise Valley up there. So, where are they now? They're counting their money and their celebrityism. So, this has been confirmed by multiple people that the warning was posted at 9/11. Now you think about that, at 9/11. We all know what that date means, just like 3/11, 9/11. I ran the half mile, the Olympic coach, he and I used to go at it. He's a famous coach in Utah. He's one of the Olympic coaches, ran in several marathons. I'm in his ear. He says, Kevin, you know, you've woke a lot of people up, you know, your boycott signs, whatever. He says, people watch so many of your videos, you know, the rabbit's out of the hat, they can't put the genie in the bottle. Trump, your Lord, Savior, who is Obama, his Bush, net neutrality, they did it too late. I was ahead of them. A lot of them aren't going to go. They're not going to say Fukushima, they're just going to say me time. What time? Then there's dozens of them already backed out. So NBC, this is important. Record this, copy it. NBC for the first time. Now we're going on what? We're 3,260 days, somewhere in that neighborhood of Fukushima life. For the first time, NBC, for the first time, NBC's admitting there's nuclear meltdowns. Now CBS finally admitted, took 60 minutes, you know, 8 years to tell you what Kevin Blanche told you in 1 hour. They called it the nuclear scar. Can the Japanese games fix the Fukushima nuclear scar? Somebody posted a comment, nuclear scar. That wound's still freaking festering. Oh boy, for time and all eternity. So, lots of people and all activists. Universities are free speech zones. State university, state. 100%. You say whatever the fuck you want. Post whatever you want. Do whatever you fucking want as far as activism with the YouTube camera. Say fuck, whatever. Inside the classroom. I used to teach a class called horizontal fuck versus vertical fuck. Figurative speech versus literal speech. You cannot attack someone. Say, I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'd like to do this to this person. No. You cannot do that. We all know that. Come on. But you sure could say, every one of these nuclear physicists and these nuclear PhDs and these academic professors that covered this up, fuckers should be rounded up and hung. Totally legal. That's called figurative speech. It's like when we say Obama, or we say Trump, or we say Bush. We're talking a political philosophy, which has been ruled by the United States Supreme Court. And by the way, this is published, and I learned that from Liz Warren. You know, don't you love it how this establishment is just propping up freaking Biden when his own son got freaking nuked to death in Fallujah. He won't talk about that. He was in Fallujah when they used white phosphorus. What's white phosphorus? What's white phosphorus? So they can circle the wagons, whatever. My genie, don't matter at this point. The genie's out of the bottle. I've already affected. I've affected fucking tens of millions of people. You know, in a good way, because I didn't go right to, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Well, you know, Stephen, it's all an act. If you're an act, what am I, Stephen Colbert? They're all acting. Fucking freak show fucking Glenn Beck. Freak show fucking, well, Sean Hannity, I think he drank his own fucking Kool-Aid, abused children. But most of them, Rush Limbaugh had fucking, you know, Elton John singing at his wedding, you know, when he was on his pills. It's where the money's at. Right-wingers. And then, so there's only one place on earth any movement ever truly brought radical, indoctrinated right-winger philosophy with lefty well-petters. Obama gets Trump dead. I invented the Million Mass March. I invented it on the death of Aaron Swartz. You know, educate yourself. I told these people when they pulled my funny years and years ago, I said, I'll be your worst fucking enemy. You know, when you two come out, I knew it was digital copyright. I could say fuck, I could say whatever. That's how this thing started, was an argument with a communications professor. You know, who knew I'd get cancer, and who knew they'd turn their back on me and attack me like a wolf all over the country and hire fucking trolls to slander me. But I knew that I wouldn't fall for it. So when we started the Million Mass March, me and those young men in Boston, you know, Sons of Black Panthers, some of them, a small group, you know, when we started this thing, we had 7 million people. How do you think I was able to shut down all? That was my doings. You know, talking cancer. Who can do that? Nobody can do what we did. Thank you, Kevin, for the overtime pay. Thank you for the photo ops. I've never blamed police. There's bad cops, good cops. I blame social engineering. I have Ayn Rand Greenspan, the economic thesis. The social engineering to a red cattle chute, blue cattle chute, they're the same fucking cattle chute. You could never pigeonhole me. Don't mix the elephants with the donkeys. Don't mix the domestics with the... There they come. Don't mess the domestics with the fucking wild mallards. Don't mix them. Don't mix. Oh, they fucking keep these issues hot on left, right. Don't mix the elephants with the fucking donkeys, whatever you do. I knew that. So here we got the radicalist fucking insane right-wingers there at that thing. With full camo gear, who never went to any war. I said, go join the army, fuckers. You want to fight? With their fucking, you know, machine gun fucking mentality. Going to take on the government with a gun, and they're, you know, they're fucking whacked out in fucking Freakville. And here you got the well-petting, I love Obama, fucking lefties. Where is it even possible they can walk the streets and protest and, you know, go after Monsanto? I raised the flag. We took the flag down at Monsanto, raised our flag, do all this. Where's that even possible? They're not only holding hands, protesting together in a united cause, they're having dinner together, they're sleeping on the church floor in D.C. together. I mean, I know some that are married. There's a couple that are just like that. They got married and they named their baby Kevin. You know, because they told me that. Where could you do that? Oh, I did that. Oh, yeah. And so our group did that. We, because I'm not me. Don't put me down as arrogant, because my mind is not for rant. Pickering. So I'm getting different reports from different people. Some people say that it's spiked. Now this is important. We're going to rely on Grassroots because the government's going to tell us nothing. And we know they lie. When they lie. You know, we taught these stories when we were kids. You know, liar, pants on fire. You know, keep lying. The emperor has no fucking clothes. The nuclear emperor has no fucking clothes. They lie. By the time you tell the fuck, isn't that a children's story that we're all taught? You lie so much when you tell the truth, no one believes you. Vice versa. I mean, so we're relying on Grassroots, just like Fukushima when they crashed Redneck. Gina McCarthy, Lisa fucking Jackson, Scotty Pruitt, same fucking team. Obama, hand off a B to Trump. So some people are saying that there have been spikes in Ontario. The whole province was sent out the warning. Others are saying no. So we need as much as we can. I'll post it in the comments. Now, there's another thing with your comments. This is another thing, social engineering, that Google's done. Sometimes you're going to have to go up and click comments, and it'll say newest first, blah, 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 to open them all up. Because they're only displaying. Now, how they're up to that, I don't know. But we know how they played. But it's a big deal. The Fukushima Games, the boycott. Thank you, Ali. Thank you for not going, to setting the thing. And, you know, when NBC comes out and says, first time they admit nuclear meltdowns, as Kevin Blanch said, standing right here, if you believe them, Colin Powell had weapons of mass destruction, Pat Tillman fight up 9 Canada, George Bush won the 2000 election, Fox News, you know, Jessica Lynch, Royal Hunter, remember the plume thereof, it's not harming you. I stood right here and did that video on the 15th of March, and that was like the 5th day that I did videos. Let's watch the mallards come in. Don't mix the domestics with the wilds. Do not mix the elephants with the donkeys. Oh, we did it. We had 7 million in that movement. Is it festered down? And of course, socially engineered. It's not fucking Obama kids versus Trump ads, hypocrites versus fucking well petters. So, it's in Idaho, of course, yesterday. So these kids are growing up. Jason's kids are in Montana. They've grown up watching Kevin Blanch's videos. A lot of people have. They're not kids anymore. So in Idaho was the only place on earth that issued a warning after Fukushima. Was the water district in Boise, Idaho. Ooh, good. I want to see you next year when I come back again. Oh. So the kids, his kids made this for me. They're not little kids no more. They're not 10 or 11. Starfish. They folded paper cranes for me. Wakata-iki. Old can. They got a really old can of, he says, Dempsey Creek sardines. You know, and they thought about this and they made this for me and put together the last starfish in Montana. I love it. So I got to tell you this last, my grandson, who was born days after Fukushima, you know, was named after me. Here they're remodeling the school, so they've got the two schools joined together. And he says, Grandpa, he says, what's that? And he says, you ain't gonna believe this one. Because when he was in kindergarten, to be able to eat school lunch, an adult has to go with him. So I'd eat school lunch with him, and school lunch is good. He says, they've moved this other, you know, these kids into our class. They think they're taking over our school. I said, why that? And he says, they said they're getting rid of sloppy joes. I said, well, who told you? The lunch lady. You know, is how you usually like them sloppy, and they're good. I'm like, oh God, they can't get rid of that. Actually, the same lunch lady when I went there. So, oh yeah, what you gonna do about it? I already did. What'd you do? I went right to the top. And I said, what'd you do? Remember, he's 8. Born the same month as Fukushima. Right after. I went to the principal. And I says, oh, you think they're going to roll into our school and take our school, get rid of sloppy joes? Let me tell you, if you get rid of sloppy joes, he says, I'm organizing a boycott and we're going to picket the school. He's 8. So, you know, all hands on deck at Pinkery, but they've had accidents. I'll post a tag since '83. Yeah, I believe them. It's clean. See, I like how they all say it's no greenhouse gases. They don't tell you about the nuclear fucking tailings they fucking, when they smash the atom and create, you know, what we call plutonium, uranium-235, which 238, they have to mine a spot as big as this to get enough for just an 18-month cycle for one reactor. And then they collide them together, split, and then the free radicals go loose, and the free radicals are plutonium. Yeah, real clean, green, too cheap to murder. No greenhouse gases. You know what kind of greenhouse gases? I've proven that the greenhouse gas in nuclear is higher than even fucking scumbag coal. We don't need either one of them. We're not having this argument in 1970. Go fucking team. All hands on deck. Thank you for the Olympic boycott on NBC. For the first time, record this, 3,000, almost 3,300 days. Come watch the 33rd soup can. What a journey, what a fight. Go ahead, fire me. Get rid of me. It's too late. It's too fucking late. The genie's out of the bottle. Kevin Blanch has already been watching. He's already affected the psychic.